Hey guys, it's Jordan and welcome to my channel. It's a Hardback Life. Today we're going to be talking about my March wrap-up. So, let's get started. That's right, you guys, I'm going to be talking about my March wrap-up. And I read a total of 6 books. And that is typically a good month for me, reading 6 books, because I technically get busy a lot or tired. I don't get as much reading done as I would like sometimes because I'm tired or busy and then less motivated to read. But 6 books was, like I said, doable for me. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into those. Okay, you guys, the first book that I read was Checking In by Michelle Williams. This is the nonfiction about mental health, and I really enjoyed this one. And the full title is Checking In, How Getting Real About Depression Saved My Life and Can Save Yours. And if you recognize that face, she's a singer-songwriter / actress, and she is most notably known from the girl group from the 90s and the early 2000s, Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child had Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle. And oh my gosh, I really enjoyed this book. Because I already had a lot of respect for Michelle Williams. But like, the fact that she got super real and was willing to share her experiences and at least the knowledge that she has gained from her own experiences and willing to share that with us and willing to give us some tools that she has learned throughout her journey in depression and anxiety. I that just really was so amazing. And she's not an expert, obviously, but she knows what she's talking about when it comes to, at least for her. Her experiences were very real. And like I said, she gets very real in this book. So there are some trigger warnings, obviously, about anxiety and depression. And just, she goes very deep. So if that's something that you can't handle at this moment, if you're dealing with those kinds of things, then I wouldn't pick this up. But she also, like, in the book, there's like, she talks a lot about, like, coming out, like, out of the darkness and all that stuff. She's also a very devout Christian. So if you're not religious, it's okay, because she relates this book to all kinds of people. And it's just so special. A really horrible time last month, or in February. And because February was such a trying month for me, I ended a relationship. So that was hard. And then also I got sick, and there was just a lot of stuff going on. So this book came at a great time because I read it, and it was a carryover from February into March because I couldn't quite finish it in February because I read it at the tail end of February. But it was fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. And I'm definitely going to take the tools that she has used and try and apply them to my life as well. Alright, you guys, the next 2 books that I read were graphic novels, and they were volumes 2 and 3 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is about 2 boys who are teenagers. And throughout this series, they develop a friendship, and then their friendship goes into something deeper, and they have this wonderful romance. And it's so adorable, you guys. It's so cute. I definitely recommend this graphic novel series because the way Alice Oseman writes the characters, all of the characters, is just so beautifully done. And the relationships between the characters are just, oh man, makes you want to like melt because it's so genuine. And there's a lot of funny moments, a lot of sad moments, like characters trying to figure out life as teenagers, And there's also a lot of triggering moments. I have to say this because there is a lot of content warnings because they are teenagers dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety. So there's depression and anxiety stuff happening, and there's trigger warning for cutting and eating disorder type stuff. So if that's something you can't handle or that's like sensitive for you, um, I would maybe take a beat, not reconsider, but like just um, come back to this when you're ready. But Alice Oseman tackles all those subjects with such like grace in these novels. And I read the first one back in February, by the way, and I could not put it down. Like I read the first one in a day and a half, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I have to get the second volume like now." So I went to Barnes and Noble, and I think I bought the second and the third one like that. And then I finished the second and the third one, and I bought the fourth one. Well, I had to go to two Barnes and Nobles to find the fourth volume because I was told the first one that they were out of print, which was devastating for me. And I saw that the Barnes and Noble nearest me had one copy. At least online I saw it. And I went there and it was there. I was like, yes! Which I'm not holding the fourth volume in my hand. It's on my bed, getting ready to be finished after I've finished filming this video. So, yay for that. And I'm sad, you guys, by the way, speaking of these, Alice Oseman won't be releasing the fifth volume until 2023. But she has released another graphic novel series. The first book came out, I think, last month. And I still haven't bought it yet, so I just want to say to Alice Oseman, I'm sorry. Book. Yeah, but this is a great series. Definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it. Go get it. Okay, the next book that I read was actually a play, and it's called The Passion Play. I'll put it up on the screen here because I don't physically own it. It's called The Passion Play by Sarah Rule. Now, I've had this play in my Kindle app on my phone for years because I was originally in a playwriting class and we were supposed to read it. And I read it, but that was a long time ago. That was like back in 2017 when I was in the playwriting class. And I've forgotten all about it. But it still remained in my Kindle app for my books. And yeah, so I decided to read it because I wanted to read more plays. And I have read at least one other play, which I showed you briefly. Well, I showed you my February wrap up, the Force Continuum. by Kia Corthron. That was about three black cops, three different generations of black cops, and what it's like to be black and a cop. And I think Chicago, I think, where they're at. It's either Chicago or New York. Um, Definitely check out that play. I will post a link for it on the bottom of the description. But that's not part of this wrap up. I just want to mention that. But this play is about three different groups of people putting on the same play, but in different ways. And so they're putting a play within a play, and they're putting on the Passion Play, which is like kind of like, well, it's a religious play, but like with kind of like I guess a hilarious context. Like there's a lot of jokes and stuff, but they put it in three different ways. Like I think one of the groups of people choose to play it off as a comedy, and another one chooses to play it off as a political comedy or whatever. I don't know, or drama. And I don't remember exactly all of it, but it's 150 pages, and it's decent. It wasn't my favorite play by Sarah Rule, but it did the job. It did what it was meant to do. I gave it 3 stars. Yeah, I almost DNF'd it, but I had to finish it because I don't like leaving plays unfinished. So yeah, I definitely would recommend Sarah if you're gonna get into reading plays, which I think everyone should. Sarah Rule is a good playwright. She also wrote one of my favorite plays that I did a performance of with a wonderful cast. Eurydice. She did a play, her own play version of the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. Such a beautifully written play, by the way. Go check that out as well. But yeah, I gave that 3 stars, the Passion Play. Alright, you guys, on to the next one. Alright. After I read the Passion Play, I immediately jumped into Clockwork Prince, which is the second of the 3 in the Infernal Devices trilogy. I'm not going to say too much about this because it's a sequel, but just know that it's obviously within the Shadowhunter world with Cassandra Clare. And this is my favorite series of all time, by the way. But yeah, it's still within the Shadowhunter world, and it's set in the 19th century. And oh my god, it's so good. And The Last Hours, which is the sequel series, is based on the characters' children. The characters from this book is based off of their children. And all the characters from this book are still in the sequel series, but they're the parents now. And I absolutely am loving that series too. I've only read Chain of Gold, which sucks. Chain of Iron is still sitting on my shelf unread. And then Chain of Thorns, the final book in that series, comes out November. It was supposed to be March, but Cassandra Clare pushed that back, which made me sad. But at the same time, actually made me relieved because I was already planning on rereading the Infernal Devices trilogy, and it gave me more time to actually finish it and then not rush into the Last Hours trilogy. Oh, and I mean, I've already read the Infernal Devices like twice before, so both times are 5 stars. If I could give the book 10 stars, I would. Alright, you guys, and the last book I read for the month of March was none other than Charlie Bone and the Time Twister. This is the sequel to Midnight for Charlie Bone, the second book in the series of The Children of the Red King, and this is by Jenny Nemo. This is a middle grade fantasy, which I remember reading as a kid, but the whole series was not out yet when I was a kid. There's a total of 8 books. Children of the Red King, if you didn't know, centers around the life of our main character, Charlie Bone, who in the first book finds out that he is endowed, meaning he is gifted. And his ability is being able to talk to people in photographs, and talk to and communicate with people in photographs. And he also, no, I don't want to give that away, what his powers advance to, because that would be giving you guys a spoiler. But yeah, his main ability is being able to communicate with the people in the photographs. And I really like it. It's a cool power. And it's kind of like a Harry Potter-esque situation where he finds out who and what he really is, and then he goes to this school full of other gifted people like him. But the difference is, not everyone at the school is magically gifted. Some of them are just normal people who can also play instruments or are like gifted in the arts, like they can paint or they're great at mathematics. Bloor's Academy, which is a school that he attends, takes people who are gifted in many different areas, not just magical. And he learns a lot about his family, and just so much mischief happens at Bloor's Academy, and he's at the center of it all the time. And mainly because he's the main character, but he finds out reasons why. And it's just a fantastic book series. I thought book 1 was pretty good, but I felt like there were some things that were missing that should have been there. And book 2 highlights some of those things and also adds way more. Like, it's so much better than the first book. And I can't wait to read the third book. It's not on this month's TBR, but I might read it anyway if I'm in the mood. You never know. Anyway, you guys, that was my March wrap-up in a nutshell. Please let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books that I have shown you, and what were your favorites. If you would like to, please like and subscribe. That would mean so much to me, and it'll get you connected with me and the content that I continue to release. Anyway, you guys, I shall talk to you later. Bye.